Just stop buying lattes, they say. It's all about personal responsibility. It kind of makes a person wonder, why do people focus so much on individual choices while ignoring the bigger economic picture? It comes down to psychology and a concept that shapes the way we see the world without us even realizing it. Hey there, I'm Paige and this is Nerdonomic, where we break down money in a geeky way. Today I want to talk about something that's a fundamental concept in psychology that you will see everywhere with money and elsewhere. You will not be able to unsee it, and I will explain a lot of this latte nonsense, which is the Marsha of the personal finance world. Okay, so it's something called Rotter's locus of control. Rotter was a dude. He was a psych researcher. Locus is just, fancy Latin? Latin or Greek? Latin, word for place, where control stems from. Locus of control is basically like a psych concept that describes how much people believe they control their lives and actions versus external forces. So somebody with a highly internal locus of control would be like, I shape my destiny, I shape my life, my choices power how things go. Where somebody with an external locus of control would say that a lot of what happens in life comes down to luck and chance, and that things happen for a reason. People with internal locus of control don't believe in fate, and people with external might feel like they can't change a situation because that's how the cookie crumbles, that's how things are meant to be. Now, like with any concept, you aren't necessarily completely one or the other. A lot of people are in between. It's kind of a spectrum, and you can be that way with different areas of your life. For example, you could have an internal locus about your money and an external locus about your love life. So in that example, you might be like, well, I completely can shape the force of my financial destiny. Like, it's all about the choices I make. Where with your love life, you might be like, oh, I'm probably gonna die alone. So you can be that way with different things. So how would this affect money attitudes? Well, somebody with an internal locus of control for financial matters would say something like, being rich is easy. You just need to work harder and spend less, and it'll happen. The system is totally fair. All you gotta do is spend less, work harder, make some more money. Boom. Somebody with an external locus of control might say something more like, wages have stagnated while costs skyrocketed. Now, what's interesting about these two different perspectives is they're both kind of true. It's just how people are weighting these things. Working harder, making more, spending less, good thing, ding, 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 ding. But it doesn't mean the person with the external locus of control is wrong. Costs have skyrocketed, wages are stagnated. It's a whole thing. So neither of these viewpoints is totally wrong. The real problem comes when people assume that their view is the only truth. So that's pretty straightforward so far, right? But here's where it gets really weird. Why do so many people who struggle financially themselves still defend the rich? That's where the temporarily embarrassed millionaire phenomenon comes in. So if you're not familiar, this is a very common thing. Many working class people don't see themselves stuck forever in their current financial situation. A lot of working class people think of it as a temporary thing. They presume that they're going to be the one to beat the odds and to become upwardly mobile. Now, upward mobility is a thing, but it is not a universal phenomenon, and a lot of people will either stay the same or even become more impoverished over the span of their lifetime. Not everybody is a winner in the economy, sad to say. However, a lot of people who are at the lower end believe that they will eventually be rich. So they align their values proactively with the wealthy rather than their actual economic class. They're like, well, that's what I'm going to be going to, so that's who I am. I am the millionaire. And they'll even go so far as to align themselves politically to the point where they're like, screw the poor, the rich deserve the tax breaks. They will work against their self-interests economically for a potential future rather than the reality of where they are right now. Because they're aspirational, they want to be that, not the thing that they are. And this fuels the just work harder mindset, as well as vehement resistance to policies that might actually help them. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the factors behind the just spend less mentality. Let's talk about who benefits. Well, the reality is that blaming individuals shifts focus away from structural issues, things like wage stagflation, predatory lending, inflation, and rising housing costs. And frankly, corporations and ultra-wealthy individuals love this framing because it keeps regular people blaming themselves instead of questioning the system. Okay, so does that mean that it's all bad luck, everything is out to get you, there's no hope of upward mobility? No, not at all. Generally speaking, a lot of those budgeting behaviors, those choices, they do matter. But it's important to take a more balanced perspective in all of this and recognize that both personal responsibility and systemic challenges are part of this puzzle. It's important to take control of your finances without falling into the trap of self-blame or ignoring the real economic forces that are having an impact on all of us. It's both. It's both external and internal. There's an interplay between the two. At the end of the day, it's good to make the best financial choices that you can. Be smart about what you spend your money on. Try to make more money. Look for good investments. Make sure you're not using money as an emotional trap rather than the tool that it's meant to be to build a better life. But as you're doing that, I think it's good to recognize that the game isn't exactly fair. And this isn't so that you won't play it. That's not the point, to get learned helplessness and lay down and give up. That is not the point. The point is so that if it's hard to get ahead, if it's not as easy as it should be, that it's not you or not a failure with you as an individual, but it's actually how the system is designed. And if you can manage to get ahead and be upwardly mobile in a game that frankly isn't fair, then you should feel proud of yourself. You should feel proud of yourself. Should it be this hard? Probably not. No, but it's doable. The path is narrow. Should be wider, but there's still a path to walk. And I think it's good to realize that it's not just about buying too many lattes. It's not about any one thing. Money and the economy are complicated, and anyone who says that the answer is one thing, as confident as they might be about it, is likely wrong. Anyway, it's been great talking to you as always. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.